Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, beautiful Arati.
You're looking so good, Jody.
Oh, thank you so much. I stayed up late last night making a little video about Dr. Naram and just kind of thinking about what I got from the course and everything, you know.
That's amazing. I saw that. It was like a collage of several, like a kaleidoscope.
My 8.5-year-old is teaching me how to make TikTok videos. So that was made on TikTok, and you have to keep it under a minute. So somehow it ended up about 15 seconds. Hello, Matt Perry. And I'm not sure how to pronounce the other person's name. So I'm going to wait and see if that person would like to share. Welcome, welcome. Have any of you done anything or heard anything about Edwin J. Dingle or the Science of Mental Physics?
Yes, I'm quite familiar with him.
Oh, wonderful.
I used to live in Joshua Tree, and I did a little research on him and bought some of his books while there, and I've actually practiced these breaths before, but only from a book, and so not from a human being.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it's tricky. That's the reason I've been doing like YouTubes and stuff for a while, because people do struggle to get the little details down, you know, from just looking at it in the book. So I'm happy you're here.
And I've listened to you before. I've seen you before, and with Allison in the last Healer Summit, and I liked your speech so much. I said, I need to learn from you. I need to see that again. So I'm here again.
I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I actually wondered, you know, if anybody who attended or if people got anything. Hello, welcome.
Hi, thank you. My name is Girija. Happy to be here.
Girija.
Yes.
Oh, nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Well, normally the class, to go through the beginning to end, if you're just doing it with Dingle straight through the 8 key breaths of mental physics, takes 55 minutes. I want to just give you a little bit of background on what mental physics is and who is Edwin Dingle and Dingle and so forth. So Edwin J. Dingle was an Englishman who was working in Asia. He was a map maker and a geographer and a member of the Royal Geographical Society, and he made a lot of these maps that I believe they still use today. He wrote several books at the time and was quite a seeker, and so he was always into, you know, esoterical mystical understanding and wisdom, and attracted different types of gurus or teachers that he would learn from. He was visited by, I guess, a master who asked him to put a caravan together and walk across China into Tibet, that he was supposed to go on this journey. So he gathered people. He began this journey back in the early 1920s, when it wasn't really safe for a white man to be going into Tibet. He almost died several times. He was attacked by tigers, and he had got malaria and just all these different things, and ended up at this monastery near death, where they recognized him as a returning Lama. He passed the Lama test. They knew that when this man returned from the West, that it would then be time to bring these teachings to the West. So Dingle, they, you know, through the practices of mental physics, brought his self back to health and wellness, and began learning all of these amazing techniques. Now, what I'm going to teach today is just like a quick version of the 8 key breaths, which is like a systematic series of breaths that'll take you through kind of a process of awakening within yourself. So the first breath is designed to purge, you know, anything out of your mind, body, spirit, emotions that is blocking you. And then as it goes along, you know, we're creating space for more light to come in, so we can actually, you know, shine that source energy through ourselves as bright as we possibly can on the planet. And it also, if you practice regularly, and I go in and out, I mean, we're human. I go months without doing it. I do, sometimes I'm really good at it. I do it for days in a row. It just depends. When you're doing it regularly, since the practice makes the progress. I mean, we can learn so many things intellectually, but until we practice, we don't really understand it fully. So through the practice of the breaths, you can awaken a lot of different, I call them superpowers because I don't know any other way to say it, but just activate our physical and mental being, bringing in prana, source energy to activate our brain cells and store it up for future use is really also what we're doing. It balances your whole endocrine system of your body, your hormones and so forth. And when I found mental physics, I had just gone through chemotherapy for stage 4 blood cancer and went through menopause and all this crazy stuff. I healed myself and ended up getting pregnant and having a baby at 41 years old. So it can really reverse age your body. And Dingle says, I'm going to read this to you right now. Hi, Mindy. That's my sister who just joined us too. Okay, so he says in our first lesson of the Science of Mental Physics Initiate Group course, so there's the basic breath work, which I'm going to teach you, and then there's 26 lessons of the Initiate Group course, Basic Spiritual Principles, introducing these different breaths and a few more. And then after that, there's the Inner Chamber, which is 126 weekly lessons. Yes, very good, Matt. Love it. And then the final chunk is a few years of the preceptor teacher training course that you go on to become a reverend of the Science of Mental Physics. So I've been doing that for the last 12 years. And then when the pandemic hit, of course, got online, got over myself so I could get online and teach this stuff. He says, I am now entering upon the greatest teaching accessible to man, for I am learning the secret of existence. The riddle of the universe is about me. I am now solving it. I learn why men die, why they are born, and why they live. I learn why they succeed and why they fail, why they are happy and why they are discontent. I have the power and the ability to live as long as I desire, to achieve whatever I wish, and the doors of my mind are now open that I may learn how this is done. I now learn that man is the master of his destiny, that man is the author of death. I realize that death is a mental concept and not a law of life. I now realize that all negation is a mental concept and not a law of life. I learned that there is only one law of creation, and that is the law of life. I am developing now the power and the ability to realize in my own life the one divine principle in which all success, happiness, and peace reside. And I thank the infinite spirit within me for the knowledge of this wondrous truth now revealed to my consciousness. So have any of you practiced, Matt, I know you have, has anyone else practiced any other type of breath work or any breath work at all, or? Yeah. Okay, excellent. This is a unique series, a unique breath work of particular positions and postures that you do along with affirmations. So I think I'll do the affirmations in my own voice today, but I would like to play you something from Dingle at the end. And to get started, why don't we you're going to need to have a little bit of room around you so you can move your arms around and some space, and then also a place to sit down for the affirmations if you choose. Many of them we stand up for, but there are a few pointers to go over with the mental physics breath work. With all of the breathings, we breathe deep down into our belly. So our belly comes way out, like the way that a baby breathes, the way that we're supposed to breathe. So breathing in through the nostrils, because there are filters in the nose that, filter the air for the brain. So breathing in through the nose down into the belly, and then into the middle chest, up into the throat. And then I'll say at the end, big sniff at the top, and you just cap it off, like as much air as you could possibly get into your body. So, and then the exhale is a unique one for mental physics, which is like a CH sound. So as you're exhaling forcefully, you're going to push that air out of the belly, squeeze it all the way out, because a lot of times people don't breathe properly, because we get anxious and the world moves so fast and we breathe more shallowly, but you don't want that bottom part of your lungs to atrophy. That's what can happen. And then it can no longer squeeze that old air out of there. It like loses its muscle tone or something. And so we want to be able to fully exercise our lungs with every breath that we take and become more mindful and conscious of it. I think that for several years when I was learning the breath work, all it did was made me hyper aware of how often I held my breath. And I didn't even know that I did that. I was like always holding my breath. And so for a long time, it was just it was kind of a frustration of like noticing that. And, moving on, I am definitely more conscious of how I'm breathing and trying to breathe down into the belly as often as possible. Okay, the other thing is the secret switch. So that is simply placing the tongue on the roof of your mouth. And there's the maxilla bone there that is actually a bone that breathes. And so when you're pushing some pressure with your tongue on the roof of your mouth, it signals to your nervous system to relax. Okay, which brings me to one other point. Many of the breaths are done in a very rigid position. So our whole body is tight. Knees are snapped back. Our buttocks are tight. Everything is really, really straight, strong, and tight. And so that's the tricky thing in the beginning too, sometimes, is to maintain that rigid posture while you're inhaling, and also maintaining the rigid posture while you're exhaling. So you're breathing in, big sniff, holding it, and then exhaling, still rigid. Once you exhale all your air out, then you can take a little breath and then relax right down. So I'll give you brief reminders of these things as we get into each breath. Okay, so to begin, let's just sit down and get centered within ourselves. I'll say a little prayer and before we get started. Just take some long, slow, deep breaths in through the nose and exhale gently with a sigh. Allowing yourself to just be here in this present moment. Nothing else needs to happen right now. You're just in this one moment now that life is happening. Your place of power as you're breathing in the breath of life. And exhaling any worries or concerns of your day. Almighty and eternal fount of wisdom, please grant us knowledge and understanding and wisdom, that we may speak here words of truth, love, and hope. We ask for light from the higher spheres, and may our guides guard and control our mind and tongue so that nothing but the truth may here be given, and that the good seed sown may find fertile spots to live and grow. And those who are now in darkness and obscurity may be brought forth into the radiant sunshine and the joyous glory of the unfoldment of true spiritual goodness. And so we just give thanks for being able to be together right here, right now in this way, and practicing these wonderful breaths, these ancient secrets and ancient wisdom that has been passed down for thousands of years. We give thanks. Thank you, Dingle and his master teacher, Padma Sambhava. We give thanks, we give thanks, we do give thanks. Breathing all the way into the belly. Big exhale. Feeling your body relaxing right down, feeling centered and strong. The first breath that we'll be practicing is called the harmonic or balancing breath. And although it is not one of the 8 key breaths, this one should be done before doing any of the other breaths. And this can be done at any time just for balancing the hemispheres of your brain and relaxing your whole body. So it's the alternate nostril breathing, and the left nostril corresponds to the circulatory system, and the right nostril corresponds to the nervous system. So as you're breathing in, and our nostrils change throughout the day. So sometimes one is bigger and taking in more air, and sometimes the other is, and this is normal. They should change like every 1 or 2 hours. And sometimes, you notice that one is totally clogged and the other one's like really open. So if your left nostril is taking in more air, you can be a little more lethargic. And if your right nostril is, then you're more high strung. So doing this breath at any time just completely levels a person out. So practice with me. We're going to plug our right nostril, and we're going to inhale for the count of 4 through the left side, and then hold for 16, and then unplug the right and exhale for 8. So as we plug the right nostril, we inhale for 4, hold for 16, unplug right and exhale 8. Again, inhale 4, hold 16, unplug and exhale 8. One more time, inhale for 4, hold for 16, exhale 8, and one more time. 4, hold 16, and then exhale 8. My teachers taught to hold the 2 thumbs together because they correspond to the lung meridians. I've heard Dingle teach that way, and also he has taught by pinching the forefinger and the thumb together as well. So if you're driving, you can just do it with one hand. Let's see, there's a couple more tips. One is, before each breath that we do, I'll say first the thought, and then that is the moment to give thanks for the breath of life. Edwin J. Dingle, who was renamed by the monks Dingle, which means great man, he says, "I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life." So the way that I say things is exactly the way that he taught it. So if I sound like I'm talking from the 1920s, it's because I'm trying to maintain the integrity of the teachings of the time that he did it. Also, I think there's a place for maybe modernizing it a little bit as well. But today, I'm going to do it exactly the way he did it, or the way that I was told that he did it. Let's say. He died in 1972, and he was actually on track to live to probably be 150, 200 years old. And his master teachers were well into their 200s, still totally fit and active and working and doing things in their life. So that's the goal of this. It's interesting because the pictures that I have of the classes that Dingle held at the center that I worked at for the last 10 years over here in Joshua Tree, in its heyday, he had over 300,000 students practicing this. And he was such a great mind, and he had plans, because he was an orphan. He had plans for creating the City of Joy over there, which the reverends would retire and teach their passions to these orphan children that he was going to have living there as well. So he had all these amazing plans drawn up and dreams that he had, and he was perfectly healthy. And then I'm pretty sure what happened was he slipped on the ice or something and hit his head when he was accepting an award in England. So, we never know why these people leave us, but he is still guiding me to do things in this plane of existence. So I'm grateful for that. The thought, I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. And then sometimes I'll say, lock it up after each breath. And that just means to swallow. It kind of signals your own body to solidify that breath inside yourself. Okay. Mindy, if you chime in, if I'm forgetting anything here. My sister and I have been getting on practicing for an entire year, but finally I just started advertising a little bit, because I don't know why I thought, why am I doing this if I'm not going to share it with people? So thank you for showing up today, guys. Appreciate it. Do you have any questions so far? If you can always just chime in at an appropriate time if you have any questions, or if there's something you want me to expand on. And
just a question about, is there a name to the 2 different breaths that you did?
Yes.
A specific name.
Yeah, the one we just did is 2 different names, and it's the harmonic breath, or he also calls it the balancing breath. And then that one can be done anytime. Okay, so for the first,
Hey, Jode.
yeah.
One of the other people in the room is their videos pinged, so you're not the main person on the camera.
Okay, let me see how.
Just so while we're following you when you're doing the breaths, it'd be easier if you're pinged.
Okay, thanks, Mindy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there we go. Okay, great. So the first of the 8 key breaths is called the memory developing breath. Now, we always used to joke that, it definitely helps your memory because you're just getting copious amounts of oxygen. However, this particular breath was designed to help you remember who you are, to awaken to your purpose on the planet. And you are also getting copious amounts of oxygen. Monitor yourself during these, because it is a lot of breathing, and if you're not used to it, it can be, I still get dizzy sometimes. So if you have your eyes closed when you're doing it, you can always just open your eyes, and that kind of helps center you. But if you need to stop and put your head between your knees or whatever, just go ahead and do that. Yeah, the memory developing breath is like the old-fashioned water pumps, the silver pumps that you pump, and then when you stop pumping, the water begins to rush through. I just always use that analogy because there is no better. So our body becomes like that pump. How we're going to have our hands down on our knees. This one's done sitting in a chair, but you want to pull yourself away from the back of the chair. And you might want to get a Kleenex and blow your nose. This one's very active. This is the most active of all the breaths. And it looks like this. So it's done in 3 sets of 14 and then a final triumphant 7. So it's like this. So as you're breathing in, your belly comes way out. But your body stays straight. Only your head and neck move, and you want to be gentle. You don't want to really strain your neck. Your head and neck is always loose in the breaths, in all of the breath work. So we'll do that 14 times, and then I'll count. So you don't have to worry about that. I'll give you, I'll let you know that when we're on our last one, and then I'll say rest. And after that, just have your eyes closed and feel inside your own body what is happening with that breath. So allow your body to just relax and let that energy move through, and just kind of be curious about what is it? What am I feeling? Science of mental physics is a science of feeling. And in India, it's called Brahma Vidya, and it means science of the knowledge of the divine. So there are still hundreds of thousands of students around the world in multiple countries of this study that branched off from Dingle. So I think it's amazing. People still are everywhere practicing. Okay, guys, ready to try this breath? So palms on the knees, your heels are touching, as with all of the breaths. This creates the sevenfold electrical connection in the body. Palms facing downward on the knees. This breath activates the 49 fires in the body, and it could cause any number of feelings to arise. You could get giddy, you could feel sad, you could have any number of things. Just allow whatever comes up to be perfectly fine. Just watch it like a scientist experimenting with curiosity and observation. Okay? So palms facing downward, spine is straight, head and neck is loose. Pulling that secret switch. And now the thought, I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now all together, we exhale. And now up. One more. Just watching and relaxing. Any little phenomenon that strikes your attention. And now together, 2 more 7s. We exhale and up. One more. And now for the third set of 14, together we exhale and up. One more. Squeezing it all out. Just observing. And now for our final triumphant 7, giving it everything you've got. Together we exhale. And up. Last one. And now we inhale and exhale with a sigh and relax right down, palms facing upward, eyes are closed, feeling inward. And now I imagine a great light at the top of my head. The top of my head is heavy and relaxed. My forehead is heavy. The eyes are relaxed. The muscles of the face are withdrawn. The jaw gently drops. No pressure on the teeth. The arms and hands are very heavy. But oh, how happy I feel. I feel happy all over, particularly in my beautiful face. My face is bathed in the blushes of my smiles. My whole body is bathed in the blushes of my smiles. And I feel a gentle pressure from within outward. And that gentle pressure is taking away any little lines of care or fear, worry, disappointment, anything negative. I feel happy all over. And now I bring that light down. The chest is relaxed. The abdomen falls down and that light comes down, down, down to the tips of my toes. And now I imagine that great light at the back of my neck. I am looking down over my beautiful spine. It seems as if I am looking at a wonderful waterfall with the sunshine playing on it, so that I see a countless number of tiny specks of iridescent light, light, light. And I know my whole body to be full of light. If thine eye is single, the single eye, the inner eye, the eternal eye, the spiritual eye, the creative eye, the eye that I am now using. If thine eye be single, my whole body is full of light, and every cell of my being is a lamp, a light, a torch, bringing to me the light of the divine wisdom within me. The light being in perfect correspondence with the flame, and the flame is in perfect correspondence with the fire that is in the center of centers of my inmost being. The fire of divine love within me. And so feeling heavy, imagining that I am looking upward to the top of my head and giving thanks, imagining a great golden shower of light going out in all directions. I take a little breath and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. I lock it up, I swallow as I take another little breath and a quick sigh. And I wake up quietly. So now we'll move into the second breath, which is called the revitalizing breath. And I want you guys to be fully in your practice today. So if you want me to send you any information about this, I have all kinds of stuff I can send. The second breath and all the breaths from here on out are done standing. So you'll want to find a place where you have some room to move. This one's very simple. It's basically just breathing in and holding the breath with the rigid posture that we do in all of the mental physics breaths. So the heels are touching when you're standing, shoulders are back and down, buttocks are tight, knees snapped back, everything is rigid. So you're feeling a sensation of being pulled upward from the top of the head, from the spine. The spine is totally straight, and then simultaneously pulling downward on the fingertips toward the earth. So this kind of feeling like that, feeling yourself in the center of heaven and earth, grounded and strong. So for the revitalizing breath, first the thought, I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. And now pulling that secret switch, putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And now together we exhale. Squeezing out all the old air. And now breathing all the way in through the nose, all the way into the belly, middle chest, throat, big sniff. And now we hold it, squeezing, pulling downward on the fingertips, knowing that I am the master of my body. I am the master of my body. And now, without dropping the head and neck, together we exhale. Squeezing it all out. We take a little breath and we relax right down as we think of these simple words and feel into them. Feeling for the hidden meaning of these sublimely simple words. I am whole. Nothing is lacking. Nothing can be added. I am whole. I am perfect. Perfect as he, as it, as Father within heaven within me is perfect. I am perfect. I am strong. Strong. I am true strength. I am powerful, full of power. Every single cell in my being is a power plant working for me. I am powerful. I am loving, loving. I am love moving. I am love in action. All the love of the universe is within me. I am loving. I am harmonious, in harmony, poise, balance, equilibrium. I am in